The Premier League season is nearly back up and running, and we've had our first game against Notts. I can't get the words out, boys. I'm tired. Let's just run the intro. Fuck it. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Whatever time of day you're watching this, hope you guys are doing well. And welcome to the live stream. And we've got so much to talk about tonight. It's crazy. We're going to run you guys through exclusively the behind the scenes, what happens with the kit launch. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss all the politics that came up off the back of it. We're going to talk about the Nottingham Forest game. Was it a bore fest, or did we learn anything from it at all? We're going to see which players impressed us. And of course, the Jonjo debate rings on. I'm starting to get bored of this. I've stopped talking about Henderson on any videos until we sign him. I'm kind of getting towards that stage with Jonjo, but I still think it's a hot topic and one that I want your guys' opinions on, and the panel as well. And then finally, Shelvey. Is he going? Is he staying? There's been rumors he's out in Spain with the group, after rumors saying that he wasn't. We'll get into all of that as well. Good to see all you guys in the chat. Say hello, everyone. Let's see who we've got in here. This is going to be a fun stream. Ask us any questions if there's anything you want to know about the kit launch event, or, you know, where's Dino been for a month? Maybe you want to know that. Have we kissed and made up, Dino? I don't know. All right, Ed, Dino, how are you, boys?
Yeah, I'm really good, mate. I'm really good. Still buzzing. So we've got plenty to talk about. I've got echo again as well.
I haven't got one. Guys, is there an echo in the chat? I just go to the audio.
It's gone now. It's gone now. Yeah, plenty to talk about. Still buzzing after Friday night. And yeah, guys, get your questions in as well, because we've got a lot to share with you. But Dino, we've missed you, mate. So welcome back.
Yeah, I miss you too, guys. And the chat, the funny chat. Although I've been keeping tabs on it. I've been in the Philippines for a month. You wouldn't tell from this white face, but there you
go. Sound is okay. Thanks, boys. Well, we've already got 135 of you in here. Please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to FFTV. And now I get into it. As Dino said, let's start there, Dino. Welcome back, mate. It's good to see you. Yeah. Did you think on Friday you were going to wake up in the Philippines and end up at Nottingham Castle, mate?
No,
it was a hell of an event, wasn't it?
I had a hell of a journey back. There was a big wait at the airport. Oh my God, it was so bad. My back was killing, my legs was killing. That's because I'm old, but everything was hurting. And then, yeah, you let me know that we were going to this event. So I literally dropped the cases in the lounge, opened them up, got in the shower, put some clothes on, and then you picked me up. So that was that.
Yeah, and we had to.
Where's it going?
Yeah, Prozac, Red Bulls, and everything. I want to start. Well, boys, how did you feel about the event as a whole? We'll get into the whole politics of it. And guys in the chat, I really want to know what you thought of the event, because there was a lot of pissed off people about when the kit was getting launched. There was all these rumors that it was going to be 4 p.m. and then it was 5, 6, 7, and on it went. But we'll come on to that. But as the event as a whole, what were your thoughts of it? How do you think the club kind of conducted it, and do you think it was good or bad?
From my point of view, really enjoyed it, and obviously it was out of the blue, so we didn't really know where we were heading or what we were heading to, and we didn't have too much information on it because it did keep it pretty much behind closed doors. But really impressed with the setup, really impressed with obviously the Nottingham Castle was an amazing venue to do things. There was a lot to be inspired by. There was some great moments, some great opportunities for us personally. So if you were there, you would have loved it. I can totally understand the frustration from the fans waiting to hear the news and waiting to hear about the launch. But from our point of view, it was an amazing night and an amazing opportunity that we really couldn't turn down.
Yeah, Dino, just bringing up some of the comments. Guys, get your comments in, because I do want to know how the fan base is feeling about it. Knowlesy's saying communication was poor, no idea that it was happening. And Nick saying should have been done during the daytime so we can actually see what color the third kit was. Do you agree with what they're saying, Dino? And Random saying they should have made an event out of these things, bring in revenue for the club, etc. Do you agree with what the guys in the chat are saying on it at all?
I do. It's a shame. I know that it can't be an open book for everybody. You can't kind of hold it in the market square again and do this. It's quite a big event to put on. So obviously it's the first time they put anything like that on, but I thought they did a cracking job of it. I was only sad, I think, that there was only a few there. I mean, most of the people that were there were from a charity. So although, yes, there were a lot of Forest people there, the wider community, the wider fans that have put the hands in the pockets all year to go and see the club. It's a shame that they didn't do anything there. Maybe a live stream next time, I don't know. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it, same as Ez. I went in, I kind of thought it'd be a bit of a corporate stale event, but it was fantastic, really good.
Yeah, let's tell the guys the funny stories, because that was our expectations going in. It was like, we got there in like jeans and jumpers and what have you, smart casual, And there's a few people in like 3-piece suits, and we're like, oh shit, man, we're a bit underdressed here. But we walked up towards the castle and got inside, and they said bring like some wet weather clothes, like a warm jacket and stuff, because part of the event will be outside. Yeah. What they didn't tell you was that the majority of the event was inside, and someone had left the heating on or something. We were sweltering, man. We
had to go out for 3 air breaks, didn't we? Because it was really windy at the top of the castle, and that hill climbing up. Oh my god, me and Wolverine with pants on. I was just springing along. I froze a look at that. Look at that for face. Oh, no, it's gone.
Yeah. But inside, just let you know who was there. So in the beginning, Nick Randall, his directors were in there as well, kind of all the corporate guys. And then about 20 minutes in, Steve Cooper came with a bit of his entourage. And then like 2 minutes later, Worrell came in, and then you had Danilo, Awani, and the ladies.
Guys, we're skipping over juicy bits. What happened before Cooper came in? What happened in the courtyard? Go on, we've got to mention it. What?
I'll do this one. So Steve Cooper came in when he was walking in, and then his phone rang, obviously about Hendo or somebody, right? And so he stepped back, and he sort of went in the corner, and then hopefully one of them's in the chat tonight. These lads walked through. These 4 lads walked in, and they kind of looked over at Cooper, and then looked over at Urs, who was standing by the wall by the castle. And they shouted, "Hey, it's the FFTV boys!" Completely ignored Cooper. Wolverine at the top of the voice. I thought that was a moment. Just completely ignored Steve Cooper. But,
People looks up and gives us the wanker sign. He didn't. I'm joking.
I thought they were going to attack us at one point. Never mind.
But then we went in. We had a quick chat with Cooper. Which was good fun. We were about to get into tactics, but to be fair to him, he literally, like, everyone who came in, I felt sorry for him. Like, literally, Steve, we get a picture. Like, every 10 seconds, someone was coming in to get a picture of him. So we had a brief chat with him.
Yeah, but to be fair with him, he was happy to chat. If we hadn't been interrupted, he would have told us probably everything. He told us the team sheet basically without even prompting it. It was brilliant actually, because we're talking about how hot it was in there. Now Coops was properly sweating. I don't think he sweated like that all season, not even after the Leicester game. He was sweating like that.
It was hot, man. Yeah, but
you guys spoke to him. You guys spoke to him, bear in mind.
Yeah, someone stood on the moral high ground. The shameless ones here. We were like, fuck it.
Stevie Cooper. Yeah.
We took the opportunity. But yeah, no, he was brilliant. He was fantastic, to be fair. And yeah, we could have talked to him for a little bit longer, just to even have that chat. And I think he kind of knew who we were as well. Not saying anything like, no, do you know who I am? None of that shit. But I kind of think he did know who we were as well, because I did.
Yeah, he did double take, didn't he?
And then the moment of the night, right? Honestly, we turned into 3 little girls.
Oh, right.
We were trying to be so professional as well, weren't we?
I just grabbed them both like this. I was like, boys,
I got Taiwan. I was like, I love you, Taiwan. I love you so much. Oh my God.
But Danilo was so funny. Like, you would say anything to him. I was like talking to him about, quantum physics, and he's just like, yes. That's all he could say. I was like, yo, Danilo, would you subscribe to FFT? Yes. Danilo, can I have £1 million? Yes. That's all he knew. And Cooper was saying it as well. He goes, they still don't speak any English, him or freaking Felipe, apparently. Yeah, none of them speak any English. So, and then we spoke to Taiwo. Taiwo was just the top bloke. You know how he's always smiling on the pitch? That's how he was in the event. And he is chiseled up, man. He's looking in fine shape right now. We were groupies, Chris. We were. For Danilo, I went all groupie. I'm not going to lie.
And I've got to say, Taiwo smelled amazing. Whatever scent he was wearing, I'm trying to figure out in my head.
But when you were smelling his torso, I thought that went a bit far.
My head went to his torso.
That was the height difference. That was the height difference. Yeah, but no, it was a cracking event. I thought they put it together really well. We had a chat with Prutz as well. We might be able to get him on. He's up for doing it.
He's a great guy. Prutz.
Yeah. We'll keep you guys posted on that. But yeah, really good night. I do agree with a lot of the feedback I was seeing about. I personally think they should have done that event and live streamed it. It would have been fantastic. But was you there with your autograph books now, Leo? Unfortunately not. We didn't know who was coming. We just
genuinely, like Dino said, we were all expecting a corporate event. We thought maybe just going to be Chairman Randall there and his backroom team, and certainly weren't expecting Cooper to turn up. Weren't expecting the free players to turn up. Obviously, later it made sense that those free players were the models for the shirts as well, so that made sense. But at the time, we weren't expecting it because we were out for another air break. Just as Danilo walks in behind him. Oh yeah, no, Worrell came in first. I don't think.
Yeah, that was the funniest bit of the night. We'd just been outside cooling down again, and we come in, and Nick Randall was about to do a speech. We didn't know he'd started, right? And I just turned to Ez. I was like, yo, next time we chat to the players, let's get them a little snippet of them saying subscribe to FFTV. And then and I was like, who should we get? And then Ez just screams out, yeah, let's get Worrell to say it. And in that exact moment, right, the room goes silent. Everyone's head turns to the right, stares at Ez. One of the directors gives him the shush, man. FIFA style celebration shush. Like, shut the fuck up. The main man is talking now, right? and Ez just goes from brown to red, man. But yeah, anyway, that was the corporate event. It was great. It was good fun. We filmed it all for you guys so you can get to watch it. If you haven't seen it already, it's on the channel. All right, let's get into talking about Forest, boys. I want to start. I don't want to start with Jonjo yet. I want to start with. They were laughing at that way. Oh, it's so fun. I wish we'd film that. Anyway, I want to start with the game yesterday. Ez, you were at the game. Was it as dull as it looked on TV in real life, man? Guys in the chat,
I'll be honest.
Did you enjoy the game? Did you enjoy the game? We'll talk serious about it in a minute, but go on, Ez.
Yeah, I'll be honest. There was this empty crisp packet on the pitch, and that distracted me for most of the first half, to be honest, because it was so fucking. Honestly, I'm not even joking. This crisp packet went from one end to the other.
Move more than one then.
Yeah, more movement with more telling you, mate. But honestly, really boring first half. The only entertainment I had was some of the crowd that were around me. But other than that, it wasn't a very good first half. There was a couple of good performances though in there, and there was a couple of performances that I would like. Yeah, I think these guys need to maybe need to change our opinions on some of these other players. But I'll be honest, Aguilera, he stood out for me.
I know, I'm chat, man. I swear to God, I can't have a serious conversation while reading. I just block everyone, man.
And the reason we will plan a shorter show, but it never ends up like that purely because you guys in the chat. But thank you for that anyway. You keep us entertained. But honestly, that first half, our chat is certainly more entertaining than that first half was. But there was a couple of good performances. Aguilera, like I said, stood out. He looked good to me. Decent touches on the ball. You asked a question, I think, on one of the videos yesterday about Freuler. Again, didn't notice him. A pure ghost in that first half, mate. I tried to keep an eye on him as well, but whatever I did see of him, it wasn't progressive. It was just pass and pass it. I'll pass it straight back to you, but you haven't moved, so it's made no point in you making that pass, and nobody's moved around you. So a lack of movement was quite evident in that first half. The shape, I wasn't 100% sure on what that formation was.
It was
I wasn't
4-2-3-1,
100% sure
man.
what that was. Is that what it looked like? Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess so.
That's where
there was
I
a few
thought it was
performances.
interesting. I thought that was interesting because it was a boring game, yeah. But I don't want to come out here and say it was boring just in case he doesn't stick to that formation, because I thought there was, as you said, there was a few good performances. If we look at the first half, I thought Mangala was really good. I thought the position he was taking up, he was playing a deep lying position, but he was also the bottom of the pyramid, bottom of the diamond when we were in their half. And there was about this 49-second period where we looked like Barcelona. We were on the edge of the box, tiki-taka passes going round, being pinged around, Taiwo dropping deep. And I was like, hello, we've arrived. And then it just vanished into nothing else. I think it ended up with Dennis's header that just spooned.
Ended up with a crisp packet.
But no, joking aside, I thought Mangala looked good. I thought Christina Aguilera was good. And I thought Taiwo looked quite sharp. Outside of that, you can tell there was ring rust, couldn't you? There's a bit of ring rust and a bit of
Worrell had a few shaky clearances as well. But you're right, Mangala did out of midfield. Mangala did stand out. I did think Aguilera just his I think was it a cross from a free kick for Dennis's header. So his set pieces were good as well, but it's just his general play. He was progressive with his passes, which is what we want, obviously, from a forward-thinking midfielder. So there's a bit of promise there from him. But other than that, really nothing really to report in the first half. They didn't do much. We didn't do much. But I did like their is it number 11 on the right-hand side, that winger? He looked a little bit tricky and gave our left back
gave our young best player all season. He has.
I can see
why. He's proper old school winger.
So we have Ant the Arsenal fan, and we've now got Dino the County fan as
I've seen 3 games this season. I mean, he's quite a good winger, actually. He's pretty old school. He reminds me of Franzi Carr, just head down and go, dribble, cross. That's what he does.
He was definitely the one that stood out from County point of view, but obviously we're not here to talk about County. But he did give our left back, who was one of the young players. I can't remember what is it. Powell, was it, who played at left back?
Left back.
He had a bit about County. I don't care about County. I don't know these players that you're talking about.
I'm talking about our left back. I'm talking about our left
Powell,
back.
no, he played at left back, but he's a midfielder. He's a midfielder.
Is he normally a midfielder?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure he scored the goal against Man U when Man U cheated us out of the Youth Cup. I think. I can't remember that far back. Someone in the chat will correct me. But Dino, explain to me, Dino, the philosophy of how you see that team lineup. Was it experiment? Was it shop windowing? Was there last chance saloons for certain players? How did you read that team sheet?
Well, I was quite pleasantly surprised when he went with the 4-2-3-1. I was amazed, actually, because starting off with that at the first pre-season game of the season kind of means that he's probably looking for another tactic, isn't he? A bit more attacking. And the fact that we didn't low block, but still ended up with probably only one shot on goal was a bit weird. But I'm going to stay positive for that game because I did see some positives. I thought Aguilera, I saw in the chat somebody put he should go on loan, but I think we need these players because if Jonjo does go, and we carried 10 or 11 injuries throughout most of last season at any one time, so everybody laughed when we got 30 players, but we bloody needed them all in the end, didn't we? Because we were starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
And because of his age,
injured. And I think he's going to need some of these young players, which is why I think he blooded a lot of them with the senior players. Because if you noticed, he kind of split, didn't he? He didn't put all the kids on and all the senior players. He kind of split the halves. But Aguilera was good. Like Ed said, the left back I was quite impressed with going forward. So maybe on a wing back role.
He's not even. I'm sure. Chat. Is he a midfielder? Someone tell me. I ain't gonna try and
pretend. He looked like a left back, left wing back to me. I know he was playing left back, but he looked like a left wing back. He looked a bit shaky against the man at times in the tackle, but he did well going forward, I thought. And he was bombing. So Dina,
are you saying leave Christina in the senior squad?
I would put him in the squad.
Chat, do you agree with Dino or not? Well, let me put a poll out. Would you leave him in the squad or not? Or is Dino jumping to conclusions based on 45 minutes against Shitty County? Dino, that would be my next question to you.
Yeah, but he was one of the only ones that took that opportunity, didn't he? I mean, Drager had a great opportunity, didn't he? He came in last season and had a little bit of a flurry and then disappeared forever. I thought he'd gone, actually, the right back. But he had an opportunity to show what he's made of, and he didn't really take it. Freuler didn't really take it. Freuler was back to his old ghost self for me.
I didn't even know
it's right that you play some of these kids early doors. I mean, obviously he left some of the players out because they're going to the training camp in Spain. Training camp being 2 games, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was an ideal opportunity to sort of try them, see what, because I think he's going to have to use some of them.
Yeah, I still think
to pad the squad out. If we get Wolverine, if we get 11 more injuries concurrently, and we've got a 25-man squad, we're stuffed.
Yeah, but you can't. Lightning can't strike twice. We know the reasons behind it now. There was no head of physio. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but I'm not saying people got injured because we had no head of physio. I'm talking more the recovery, the strategy on it. We saw loads of players come back, get re-injured. We heard many times a player was a day away and ends up being 6 years away. So it needs.
But Darren's right. I knew Chelsea was above us in the injury league last year. They were the only ones.
But we can't.
But it might, we can't plan for it's not striking twice because we might suffer from second season syndrome. We've not signed anybody yet.
I don't agree with you, man, because you're basically saying plan on the assumption that that's going to happen. How can what are we going to do? Buy another 23 players this window?
No. I think we need a player like Iheanacho that can play all across the front line. And I think that's why Cooper was looking at Iheanacho, always looking at Iheanacho, because he is flexible across all of that front 4 if you're playing the 4 up front. And we need a left back, I think. And then the CDM, the infamous CDM we need.
What about you?
Liverpool are after Amrabat, by the way, which is
I saw your high press video. Go check that out, guys. If you haven't seen it yet, or check it out after the stream. What do you think? The same 2 questions. Would you keep Christina in the squad? And do you think should these kids make it into the squad?
Yeah.
Just for you to answer that, what I'll say is don't forget the kids can come into the squad at any time because they're under 21 or whatever it is. It's not a massive issue. I suppose the better question is, should we loan them out or not?
I think with a few of them, we have to kind of have them as backup in the squad. And like you said, with the age situation, they'll fall in the under 21 category, so you can put them into the squad. And I think we have to not kind of make sure that we're covered for all expectations. But that stat about Chelsea having more injuries, they did. But injury in terms of playing minutes that we lost from players' injuries, Forest was by far the highest. We'd lost like 120 odd minutes more than any other team. So it was a big factor last season, and obviously there are factors behind it as well. These young kids he's got to be able to trust some of them. That's what Cooper's all about. We know Cooper's about bringing on the young kids, bringing them through the academies. And obviously we've had a change in our academy structure as well. But that's not to say that we're not going to be looking at bringing some of these players through that are ready now. Dale Taylor's another one, another name that was mentioned in the chat. He's another one who looked good in the second half. We haven't got onto the second half just yet, but there are players there that I think can be part of that first team squad. And it's no harm to them to be learning from first team players at all. So I don't see a problem with that. We have to kind of think that if the worst does happen, you got to have a squad that's ready. And I understand what you're saying. You can draft these under 21s in at any point during the season, but to have them as part of a unit which Cooper likes from day one, I think is quite important. And definitely Aguilera, just based on yesterday, I hope he gets a few more minutes before any decisions made. But remember what Cooper did after the Notts County friendly last season, and he made some big changes. And a lot of people, he decided right there and then, we're not going to be any further apart. But that was one of the last games. I think it might have actually been the last game before the season started last time round. It's the other way around this time.
Sorry, there's one more story. story, Eddie. Thanks for bringing
Eddie,
that.
you're
You've
a prick.
reminded me.
Eddie, you're a prick. You're a prick.
So,
I know
so
what
you know, if you've seen the video, you've seen the plinths with the
Wait before you say it. Stephen, thank you for the 4 months. He says, love the content, guys. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Stephen. I'm just stalling for time here. On the Christina question, 53% of you said you would keep him in the squad, 31 saying loan him out, and 16% saying no, you wouldn't put him in the squad at all. Are we really going to do this? Chad, do you want to hear this story or not? It's not funny.
Of course I do.
Chad, wait, let's see. Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you want to hear this story? No. Oh, wait, just let them say if they want to hear it or not. We don't want to tell them stuff they don't want to hear.
Of course they want to hear this.
They don't. No one's saying yes.
A quick yes in the chat, guys, and we'll get on with it.
Just trust me, you don't want to hear. It's a boring story. It's not even worth. No. They're saying no.
3 yeses. That's good enough for me.
Campo wants to talk about. Stop saying yes. Campo wants to talk about Hwang. Let's talk about Hwang.
No, come bang off.
The yeses are flowing in. You lot.
Okay. We'll come back to Hwang. Campo. Right, so the plinths that the players stood on when they were showing the shirts and they got the photos done, the official photos. We were all standing on those at the end.
You laymen like me, that means box.
Oh my God, shut up. We're all standing on those at the end, having the photos done like you do. And Wolverine decides to step off and twist his ankle. He fell off the plinth. And we were hobbling up the hill when he was fit. But oh my God, getting back to the car in the car park, we almost had to carry him. He was like, "Oh, my ankle." Okay,
look,
now
you
we
didn't
can
tell
talk
the
about
story right. Let me. Can I just defend myself first, right? Firstly, it was a box, not a fucking plinth, man. What's this freaking Queen's English shit, right? And secondly, the side I went up on, it was freaking. It was about the height of Ez, so yeah, it wasn't that high, but I had to get up it, right? Yeah. So I got up on top of it. And then all these people were starting to take pictures, and they were like, "Get the fuck out of the way!" They didn't want me in the picture, and so I panicked. So I dismounted from the other side, and I assumed there was no steps on the other side because the other side I came up from didn't have steps. So as I went to step down, the step met me closer than I thought it was. I twisted my ankle on it, freaking did a Ashley Young swan dived onto the floor, And then everyone's they're filming it, right? I'm there. I'm ready to cry out for my mum, My leg is throbbing. My ankle and my knee both twist, And I have to stand up and style it out. And the grass was soaking wet, man. I'm there like...
So somebody came over to him and said, do the Forest medics are here. Do you want him? And Wolverine's like, no, keep him away.
I'll be out for a year, man. I'll be out for a year. But anyway, this whole story is alleged. It's not true. We're wondering the same thing as well, Randoms.
He's really tall. He came around mine before. He is really tall.
He's really tall, and I am really small.
So anyway, this is an all alleged story. It's probably gonna, it's not an post spreading rumors. I'm joking. But anyway, can we talk about Hwang, right? Because Hwang's gone from this unknown to
the savior.
I hate this chat. I really hate him. I really do. I really do. Oh God. Anyway, what were we going to talk about? You know what? Right. We never have agendas for this show and shit, right? And I stupidly wrote one out, and we're like so off the agenda now. Thanks to you lot in the chat, right? Like my knee still hurts, man. I'm getting sympathy pains again.
That's what we're talking about Hwang. Yeah, look.
Is that how it said? Okay, Hwang.
I don't know. It could be anything.
Okay. Anyway, right. So, what's Nathan saying? Had a call from Forest today asking what I thought of the goal from the Korean. Sorry, I think he Hwang the wrong number. It's not bad for Nathan. It's not bad. But
that's pretty good.
I really don't want to talk about him because when he scored in the watch along, right? And by the way, what a watch along it was yesterday. It was like I had freaking 650 people who hadn't got some in like 3 years. Yeah, that's what it felt like in the chat, right? Seriously. And they finally, because we haven't had a watch along since the Crystal Palace match, you just felt their fingers were like this on their keyboards, man. And once Hwang scored, man, all the memes start coming in. They got creative, I'll give them that, right? There was some crazy memes, and I don't want to talk about him because I know what's coming in the chat right now. Here we go, Mark's already started. But yeah, let's start you, Dino. On Hwang. Is he up for the fight?
Who knows? We've seen minutes of him before he started flagging. He had his hands on his knees after about 15 minutes of the second half, didn't he? So I don't know. I mean, he took the goal really well. He missed that other one, didn't he? Was that offside or not, Ez?
I think
the second chance he got like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, we thought a flag was going up anyway. Yeah, so I think it was offside.
Yeah.
He was offside.
Wait, the one where he lobbed the keeper, but it like went bloop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But his movement was good up front, proper striker movement. But he's not been that successful at Olympiacos and then out on loan from there. So I don't know. Who knows? Best finisher in the club, by the way. Now this season. Sign in the chat.
Yeah. We'll add that to the agenda as well because I want to have my final say on Mr. Surridge. Anyway,
just before you jump in, Mike, thank you so much for the 6 months. Where's that time gone? 250 off. You've been framed for anyone who caught it. Shut up, man. Shut up. Cancel your subscription, man. Yes, Craig, I will. Oh, you bloody bastards. But yeah, Ez, there's been a bit of even in the chat yesterday in the watch along, as soon as he scored, he became the best finisher in the club. It's like someone has to be tagged with that. Yeah, all the messages were 1 shot, 1 kill, 100% conversion record, and all this. Problem was when he went for that lob, it went down to 50% conversion. Now it just kept going down and down. But are some people jumping the gun? Because remember, he's like 29, 30 years old. He went to Olympiacos last season, loaned out. He was shit. They got rid of him, sent him to the MLS. Yeah. Did he just have a bit of spunk about him yesterday, for want of a better phrase? What do you reckon?
He seemed to be a bit more energetic, but like Dino said, after about 15, 20 minutes of the second half, he was flagging, mate. So I don't know how much preseason training he's had. You'd think that the fitness levels were on a good enough for him to play 45 minutes yesterday. But he did look, even just leading up to the goal, you can see he was trying to get the high press going, and he was encouraging the players around him to move up.
FFTV high press.
Yeah, FFTV high press.
Make sure you subscribe.
But yeah,
did you know that he wasn't supposed to come on? Cooper just said to him, "Hwang, is that your fucking crisp packet on the pitch? Come fetch it." And he ran around for a bit. Ball fell to his feet.
These lot, like, do you guys I want to know this. Do you pre-prepare these lines?
They go like this. They won't leave it now until all the way through, and I love that.
I mean, do you pre-prepare this crap on the hoping that we will just? I wish we didn't bring him up, or is this all off-the-cuff comedy stuff you lot are coming up with? I don't know, man. It's like some of the lines are good, some are crap. I mean, Jolly Ollie, what's this? Hwang won't what?
Oh, good try.
Sorry, go on.
To be fair, he did what he needed to do to get the goal, and it was a good press from him, and he took the opportunity well. But other than that, I can't remember another chance in the second half, really. So you can't put that purely on him. But yeah, they are jumping the gun, surely. I mean, even if you're thinking he's going to be a squad player, I can't really see that either. I think some of these players are going to be trying to put in a shop window as such to see if we can get anything for them, and he's probably one of those. But it just done him no harm anyway, and he might end up being one of those cult figures like Nicholas Bentner that we still talk about years later with the 1 or 2 goals.
Jason Lee,
Jason Lee,
Salenzi, man.
Yeah. No, who's the other one?
Loads of them. No, which one's which year do you want to get back to?
His name is Striker.
We have one every year.
Chris Woods, man. If you want to be more modern,
a few this year.
Got 1 goal. But yeah, no, I can't see a future for him. You can't see a future for him, really.
Yeah, Bond classic. Yeah, but he's not striker. Bong
Huang
Wang
Bong.
and I mean we got Huang up front, we got Johnson, and we got Wood. I mean, all we're missing is Woodcock coming back, and he got the full set, man. Seriously, but okay, I do tend to agree. And guys in the chat, yes or no? Would you keep him at Forest or not? Remember, this was Notts County. Yeah, I will say, yeah, bid gone in for Pedro. Yeah, we talked about it on the video today. I'm pretty sure. I know fuck all about him though. He's not on FIFA. Ez can't help us.
Oh, yeah, his stats aren't very good, you know.
Alfie, thank you so much.
His stats aren't very good.
Okay, Huang is a monster. Very, very good, Harvey. Very good. Did you hook up with Harvey, by the way?
I didn't get to. No, I didn't have any details. But next time, Harvey, make sure you come down to the barbecue, mate. We'll get you on the show as well. We'll get your questions in as well. Yeah.
Very good, David. Yes, okay. These jokes. Fuck me, man. All right. So that's Huang. I think we're in agreement that I wouldn't keep him. Just yes, no. You two. Yes, no. Would you keep him?
No.
Dino.
It depends if we sign anybody, because we're going to be short up front again. Will we just let Surridge go? Haven't we?
Yeah.
And then we're down to Wood and a 1 year, aren't we?
Look, mate, if you left your fucking balls in the Philippines, mate, just give us an answer. Depends.
I told you, that's my answer. We might need him if we don't sign anybody.
I don't care if we need him or not. Is he good enough? Forget if we need him.
Who knows? I've seen him for 15 minutes before he was puffing.
Yeah, but half the chat judged him in that 15 minutes, man. So should you.
No, I'm not judging him on that.
Fucking jet-lagged prick, man. Seriously. All right. Well, while we're talking about the strikers, let's segue into this, the whole Sam Surridge thing, the best finisher in the club, right? 5 million for him. Like I got Chris Wood just when I heard that number. It was like idiot. I thought it'd be some dumbass, one of my Arab boys having to pay that, but it's a dumbass Yank instead, man. So I think it's good business. Chat, yes or no? Is 5 million like too much in a nice way? You know what I'm saying for Surridge? But Dino, what do you reckon for Surridge? 5 mil, mate. Good business or not?
In today's inflated prices with English tax, I don't think it's probably enough.
Oh my God, really?
Well, yeah, I'm thinking like 8 mil or something like that. I'm not thinking of much more. But he's not old. He's only, what's he like, 24?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's not old. He looks old, but he's not old. He's got an old face, hasn't he? A bit like me. But with hair.
You are actually old, man.
Yeah, I am actually old, yeah.
Yeah, I think we paid 1.2. I think there was some add-ons with like promotion and shit. It was about 2 mil, I think, in the end.
It was around 2 mil, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we over doubled our money. But yeah, and that's a great point from Nick. Last year of his contract as well. So that's
fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough.
I think it's good. I mean, he was never going to get a chance, was he? As you could tell, because I've always thought he was a Cooper boy, and Cooper wasn't playing him. And my logic would then say that he's probably shit then. Probably too strong a word, but whatever. I'm just going to say it. But like, what do you reckon? Was he going to get a chance?
He wasn't going to get a chance. I never agreed with the sentiment that he was the best finisher at the club after one season.
He's the best finisher at the club. 8 million.
Well, I didn't agree with that, and I was sat around. I was sat around people who were absolutely baying for him to be bought on last season. I agree that he didn't get his chance, and there was games that I would have definitely played him or bought him on instead of IU, for example. But Cooper didn't. For some reason, Cooper didn't trust him at this level, and that I can't see it changing. So to get 5 million, I thought it was a troll comment when I first saw it. The value anyway, and he's gone to Nashville, Tennessee. I didn't even know if he had a football club, mate. So
we haven't. He's the first one.
He's probably been marquee signing. So from his point of view, I hope he does really well over there. But I didn't think he had a future at Forest in the Premier League, certainly not. And so to get more than double what we paid for him, I'm happy with that. And let's hope I don't have to hear that best finisher at the club comment ever again. Put that to rest, please.
That's Wang now.
I knew I would pipe up. I've never seen
myself a little bit here, right? So what am I? And I'm a drunk. No, I just think we paid 20 million for Wood. Say no more.
Now, Dina, I'm not gonna lie, you're a little off your game tonight, mate. Like
20 million forward, man. Honestly,
your numbers are 8 mil,
and you're saying I'm crazy at 8 million.
I mean, yeah, that's a hard argument to come back with. I give you that, right? Yeah, but we paid 18 mil for Danilo as my comeback, and
yeah.
it is.
That's what I was stating my thing on the English tax I mentioned for English players.
Yeah, but does that matter going out to America? It's not like they need a homegrown rule. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, he's gone. Fuck him. Let's move on. I mean, I don't mean that. I mean, just, as in, it's not a Forest player anymore. Yeah, it's not a Forest player. Fuck it. I don't care about him anymore. He's gone. I wish him all the best, but he's not my problem anymore. Okay, let's move on to a player I do care about, right? Jonjo. I'm sick of this one, but Dino, you've been like across the world. According to Ez, he thought the Philippines was in the West Indies.
Jesus.
Yeah, you think I was going to let that slide when you brought the whole boxing up, yeah? Yeah,
I didn't
chat.
know that one.
Ez thinks the earth is flat as well, probably as well. Anyway, while you were off in the West Indies and the Philippines, yeah, obviously you were keeping up to date on this Jonjo stuff. Where are you landing on it? Because we haven't heard from you on it at all. What are your thoughts? Are you wanting it? Do you hate him like Simon? Sorry, Simon, I couldn't get it. Or do you mind if he goes, or do you really want him to stay?
I love Jonjo, and the fact that Kyle Walker's leaving the Premier League now means he is officially the fastest player in the Premier League. So that's a bonus when you're playing a counter-attack. So I do like him, and I'd like him to stay because I think next year he might be worth more. But has he reached his ceiling? And we just don't know because the last 3 years he's done amazing, right? So it could be even worth even more next year. Is it a moot point because he probably wants to go? By the sound of it and by the reports, he's keen on Villa, isn't he? So you can't really blame him. European football. It's probably going to be another struggle this year for Forest. I'm hoping for 10 points more. That's my cards on the table this season. That'll be a good result for us compared to last year, which might put us around mid-table, just below. So it'll be good money for us. He's an English player again with FFP. I think that counts, doesn't it, as all the money going back in with an English player, homegrown player, sorry, not an English player, homegrown player. So that's beneficial financially for the club. Were we a bit one-trick pony with him early on in the season? Just punting it down the right to him for pace? Yes. Will we see the likes of Scarpa if he does go on the right? Possibly, which would be quite exciting. It all really depends on what Cooper's going to line up at, but I think he's going to counter this season most of the time, so he'll probably be missed. But there's no loyalty, mate, with players. Fans are more loyal than players, True. So fans will be, I'll say something, fans will be screaming on here, you're wrong. We love Jonjo. And then if Jonjo wants to go, he'll go. It's a business, football is now.
True. So what are you saying? You didn't answer the question.
Well, I'd like to keep him in because we've got nobody else lined up that I think is better than him. Although Iheanacho, I think, given a run in the side, could do well. I get the feeling he would be pushed around that front four.
It's an interesting question from Martin. What do you think to it, Ez? Is this a smokescreen just to get a pay rise? Is this kind of agent blubber, if you like, to get a pay rise?
I think that's. I'm guys. I've never hidden it. I'm a massive fan of Jonjo, and I think still think he's one of our best players. I would love that to be the case. I hope that is the case. That it's just a matter of he wants a better contract with us and he wants to stay with us. But if a club feel that they can progress better by moving him on, and let's bear in mind, because he's a homegrown player, it's 100% profit on the balance books from the FFP point of view to sell. So whatever we get for him is going to look good on the balance sheet. I love him. I don't want him to go, but I think that if we want to get into players and Cooper's got a game plan in mind and a shape in mind going forward that doesn't rely on Johnson as heavily as we have done in the promotion season and parts of last season, then that's probably good for the team overall, because then when we're not one-trick ponies, and we were very one-dimensional last season at times. It was
certainly the first
painful
part,
to watch. Yeah, it was painful to watch, wasn't it? Because all we were trying to do was get that ball released down that right-hand side. it changed throughout the season for good and for bad, as he was experimenting. But end of the day, if it means that what we want more than anything else is our club to be an established Premier League club. We're here now. We've survived that dreaded first season. I don't believe in second season syndrome, but what you need to do is be proactive and not rest on your laurels and think, okay, we've done enough. We only just did enough to survive last season. One game away from the end of the season, we were safe. Other than that, you know, it was a tumultuous season for us, and we need to be a bit more boring this season to an extent, but reliable. I'm more than happy to sit away from home and get a 0-0 draw at some places where we've been getting thrashed. We might not see some great football again this season. It might be another season of progression. But if Cooper's new ideas and new shape means that it would give us more angles without Jonjo in the team, and getting money for Jonjo would help us improve that shape, then I think we've got to look at the bigger picture. And whatever our loyalties are, the players' loyalties are all only really to themselves. And I'm sure if he gets a good enough contract and offer elsewhere, better terms, playing in Europe, whatever it is that he wants, you can't say then he's not being loyal to Forest because he wants to progress his career. So loyalty only goes so far. We can't be blinding it ourselves, you know, as fans. That's all I can say.
There's a couple of really good points coming up from the chat.
Can I just answer to one of them there, please?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
It was there's no loyalty from clubs either. Yes, we've seen that recently with De Gea, haven't we? After 12 years at the club, the way they got rid of him was shocking. So I wasn't saying there's loyalty from the clubs. What I'm saying is the fans are more loyal than probably the clubs and the players put together. That's my point there.
Yeah. And can I just, before we get into the chat's comments now, randoms, you're way too generous, man. Thank you for the gifted sub. Benny boy, make sure you show randoms some love. You are the recipient of that gifted sub. So thank you again, randoms. You're such a great supporter of the channel. We really do appreciate you, buddy.
Sorry,
and everyone else. You know what? Even if you're just here and you're not typing and you're sitting in the background and just enjoying taking the piss out of us or whatever, thank you from us. We are 6 likes away from 100 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please don't forget to do so now. Subscribe if you're new to FFTV. And there's a few early bird tickets left for the barbecue. So if you want to grab that, the link is pinned in the description, or you can do !BBQ in the chat, and that will give you the link. It's £5 for a ticket. That's the admission fee. The food, it will be you'll have to get yourselves, but there'll be a barbecue laid out and everything. I don't know what the cost is. It's run by Trent Nav. It's on the 6th of August. The gates will open at 3 p.m. It's basically gonna be this setting, but chatting to you guys or trying to referee you guys as well. We want to make it a crowd interaction. We're gonna have a live podcast. We're gonna just get everyone mingling, just get this community in 3D is what we want to do. So grab those tickets if you haven't already. I think there's about 5 to 9 early bird tickets left. So make sure you go grab those. Maybe a little more. We don't get the count. We get it sent to us at the end of the week. Okay. I want to get back onto this Jonjo thing, but I want to bring these chat comments up. There's some interesting points. Chris here has said, where on earth has anyone got the idea that Jonjo wants to leave? I'll answer this one. Basically, there have been talks, if you believe the reports, and they're quite credible, between Jonjo's reps. Now, when you say reps, we're talking obviously about his agents, his entourage, etc., and Aston Villa. There's also rumors, and I don't think I believe these ones, that after the Palace match, him and his dad went down and had a chat with Brentford, etc. Believe those if you want. Don't believe them. I don't see them as well enough sourced to be real. But the Brentford 3 fans that they've got are quite heavily pushing that agenda. So that's where it's coming from, Chris. Now, no one's saying it's 100% true or 100% fake news, but what's happening now is what I expected, is the snowballing effect of stories are now coming out about Jonjo. So that's one thing. Mark makes this point. Dino, I think this is an interesting point, and this is a point that does need a mature debate rather than an emotional debate. Mark says we can make the team better with Jonjo's money. It's all about the team. Do you see where Mark's coming from on that one?
Yeah, I was going to bring Mark's comments up actually when I saw that, because I do agree with that. Although we lose a local lad that's a lovely story and somebody who's done really well in the past couple of years for us, we can probably build a better squad. He's right. You know, he's bang on with that point, I think. You know, we're not in FFP trouble yet, but You know, we've seen Everton and obviously Man City. That Man City thing's been going on 4 years, you know that. It's crazy how long these things go on for. So over a 3-year period, we've got to watch how frivolous we were last year, and not just with the transfer fees necessarily, but for the wages. A lot of those players that come in that are on the way out now are actually, that's frozen again. Some of those players that are coming that were on the way out now are actually going to damage the club financially.
Yep.
You know, we've got the likes of Arter that's still staying on a stupid contract. He's got a year left running.
Yeah, well, until the next.
It seems to go on forever. That. Well, how many years did he get?
It's got the old infinite symbol at the end.
I do agree with Mark there. I think we can build a better squad. And we do need a better squad. It's not like we need one player. We need a few positions. We need 2 goalkeepers for a start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mark, I think, you got a valid point there. I think you can get slated for it when people will attack you with emotion. But if people think about it level-headedly, there's something we've been saying on the dailies this week is, as much as we love Forest, you still have to understand that Forest has to be looked as a business first before a football club. That's the key point in this. Because if we can't be sustainable, the door's closed and there is no Forest. It's as simple as that. Yeah, and that's what would happen. So there has to be, the key word here is sustainability. So that's what we got to be careful of. And that's why my stance on it is, whatever the Greek father decides, I trust him enough that he's got our best interests at heart and that he will do what's right for the club. He may do it begrudgingly, but I don't think he would do it to piss us off. That's my stance on it. Go on, you want to jump in on that?
No, I was just going to say, I think, like I say, I'm his biggest fan, so I really don't want him to go anywhere, and I will fight that cause all the way. But what I will concede to is, whatever decision is going to be made is going to be made for the best reasons for the club, because it's not going to be. I don't think he'd be moved on for footballing reasons. It would be for financial reasons, and what's the better outlook for the club in the long term, because we want stability more than anything else, and it kind of harps back to the debate about Cooper last season. I never wanted Cooper out because I hate Cooper. I wanted change because I wanted us to stay up at all costs. And this is kind of along the same lines of it. Whatever it takes for Forest to be successful, we kind of got to accept that that's the reason and that's the way it's going. Yes, we made big mistakes last season, overpaying transfer fees and wages on certain players, and that's kind of will have a knock-on effect. But what we need to do is, as a club, be more proactive and make sure we don't get into the situations that Man City and Everton reportedly have got themselves into. Forest don't want to be there and wondering what's going to happen. We'd rather make sure that we're proactive, get our affairs in order. And if it means we're above the curve, it's rather better be above the curve and be just below the dotted line and be wondering whether or not, we're within FFP. Whatever decision is going to be made, basically, is going to be for the best interests of the club. And I don't think he'll be moved on for footballing reasons. It will be for financial reasons.
Yeah, but this is an absolute cracking point for me. And this is the counter argument. By the way, we're just giving both sides of the argument. I mean, Ez will cry into his Jonjo pants if he goes. But he said here, Leeds sold Rafinha and Phillips for over 100 million. How did their reinvestment go? Poor decision if it happens, and a massive risk. He is absolutely spot on. Spot on. They sold their 2 best assets and they went to shit. Rafinha, they were more of a one-man team with Rafinha and Phillips. What I would say to that, what I'll add to it, is if Jonjo has to go, the problem is I will blame some of the recruitment they did in January for it. And I'm talking in specific about those Newcastle pricks, Wood and Shelvey.
Exactly.
Because that's 25 million. Let's just say Jonjo goes for 40 million, If they hadn't recruited that poorly with that stupid deal on Wood, that's 19 million back in the bank. And that's over a 1-year contract. And all that 15 million has to go onto the FFP books this year. So they've shot themselves in the foot with it. So if the reason Jonjo leaves is because of the stupid recruitment they did in January, that will piss me off. If you're doing it, it's like a gambler, isn't it? The gambler's lost loads of money and he's got zero balance on his account. And now he's going overdrawn just to win the money back. If that's what this turns out to be, I will be pissed at them. Yeah, but we don't know yet. We don't know yet. But I think that's a cracking point from Ian there. Absolutely cracking point. Yeah. Did someone want to say something on that?
No, I totally agree with that. He's got a point there, because if it's done badly, if it's managed badly, if it's handled badly, that's what can happen. But I think that's an isolated incident, and not to say that we're going to make those same mistakes. We have made those mistakes last season. I firmly believe all these movements that have happened backstage for Nottingham Forest, and we don't 100% know, are to do with what happened last season. There were good bits of recruitment, there were really poor bits of recruitment, and it is going to take time. There is a structural change happening behind the scenes right now. And hopefully when we get some more information on that, we'll share it with you guys. But there's definitely a big change happening behind the scenes in terms of our recruitment and in the way that we're looking ahead to build that structure. It's something that Dino is really keen on talking about as well. We'll discuss about the Brighton model and things like that, and what Forest may be trying to do that, assimilate that. Yeah.
Well, we can segue into that, because Colin's saying, how are we regarding FFP? I don't know if you've seen the video we did, I think about 5 or 6 days ago on FFP. It is kind of a layman video on how the FFP thing works. And according to the calculations, well, me and Twist put it together, we both feel that potentially he may have to go if Forest want to over-invest back into the squad. Yeah, if Forest are happy with this is just me and Twist back of the fag pack kind of maths. If Forest don't need to overinvest or can sell some other assets, let's say we can get rid of a Lewis O'Brien, a Dennis, a Freuler, maybe make 20-30 million, maybe that money can then be used in there. But there's a lot more to FFP than just, this is what you lost this year, this is what you lost the previous year, this is your profit margin. As we said in the video, there's stuff like stuff going into the ladies team or into the youth team. Forest doing a lot of investment in that doesn't count for FFP, but it would still show up as a loss on the balance sheets, for example. So it's very complicated to get the right formula to figure it out exactly. Now, if I had to guess, and this is just a guess by looking through their balance sheets and everything, I think Forest probably got 25 mil leeway on FFP. Yeah. And it's just, no one quote me on it. I'm just giving you a rough guess based on the back of the fag pack maths, right? I might be really close. I might be a million miles off. But if you use that as your baseline, yeah, if we sold Jonjo, then let's say we got 50 million for him and you got 75 mil transfer window. Yeah. If we were to only sell, say, Freuler and Dennis and generate 20 mil, then maybe Forest have got 45 mil to sell. Then the problem becomes, okay, what if we pay 30 mil for Hendo? That leaves us with 15 mil to invest in. So that's where it starts to get tight. So maybe it sounds quite comfortable, but just remember that it can be quite tight depending on how much we pay for Henderson. So that's kind of a short, long-winded explanation of it. If you want more details, check the video out if you haven't already.
It's a good video, really good video.
We kept it at the kind of bottom line rather than going in, okay, well, this money's gone into this part and that's gone into the other. Just to give an overview of it. We can do one in a lot more details, but I promise you, it's a mess. And just before we go into the Brighton model, we have to talk about this. Yeah, funds from a new shirt sponsor would massively help us regarding FFP. David, this is a top point. I said my piece on the video yesterday. Dino, what are your thoughts on this fiasco that is a sponsorship? And guys, what do you think? Because this is brought up in the comments of that video, some really differing opinions. And I'm not talking about the design. Does it look good? Does it look shit with or without a sponsor? I'm talking about the financial implications and the commercialism. Commercialism, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Whatever that word is, about it, yeah? What is the word?
We're the only club I can remember that have gone into the season potentially 2 seasons running without a sponsor, and mine 1 season running. It seems ridiculous that that's not been sorted out, because you know a commercial team should be sorting next year's sponsor out the previous season for me at least, you know, and anyone with any business acumen should be planning seasons ahead depending on where we think we're going to be in the league, because obviously the higher up the more we can command as a fee. But it's ridiculous that we had, you know, did what we had to do last year, which was fantastic, by the way, with the sponsor. But in terms of a business and commercial side, it was a disaster. And it looks as though it's the same again. The fact that we haven't got a shirt sponsor on the other night when we release the shirts is crazy. We've got one for the training top, haven't we? Is it Eon, isn't it? For the training.
Yeah, we've got a training. Yeah, we've got a training kit sponsor, but we haven't got a main kit sponsor. And
I think Simon, he's always talking about the sponsorship around the side of the pitch as well. How that is just really, really poor. And I just don't think we've got or had. I don't know who's in the commercial team at the minute, but I just don't think we've had a very switched on commercial team, to be honest.
Yeah, and
it's definitely something to work on.
Can I just say, on the UK refugees sponsorship, as a gesture, honestly, it moved me. Yeah, like we were talking, because they work with Syria, they work with Palestine, all the refugees countries that we do charity work with ourselves on. So like I'm connected in terms of the morals there. But if you look at it commercially, it wasn't good commercially. And it was Forest, if you believe the reports, turning their nose up. And I don't know if it went to Marinakis, but the reports were that it was Marinakis holding out for more last season. He wanted about 10 mil. And there's only 3 or 4 teams that got that. Whereas like the boxed offer, I think it was between 3 and 5 mil, something like that. But the point here is that they have technically had a year and a bit, if not more. Yeah, because they didn't have a sponsor last year. So why was no one working on it, even when we had UK refugees on it?
100%. And I think Dina kind of alluded to that. They have had all this time to do that, and there's no progress at all. In fact, we're looking at the fact that we might be starting the season again without a main shirt sponsor. It's amateurish to an extent, isn't it? And unfortunately, it's not something that you can kind of hide. The whole world will see that. We'll be one of the first games on. We are the first game, aren't we, on
against Arsenal,
TNT this season? The new BT Sports channel, and we'll be the first game against Arsenal, and the whole world's eyes will be on that game. Whether you're an Arsenal fan, Forest fan or not, or just a Premier League fan, people will watch that game probably more than any other game at any stage of the season. So it's a real opportunity missed if they don't get this sorted by then, and it's poor. There's no excuse for it having taken so long, and I'm sure if Marinakis is true to his word, heads will roll for this kind of thing, but it's got to get sorted before the start of the season, whatever the case is. Another thing I don't want to see happening, because it's not through fault of the fans who have already bought their shirts. They shouldn't be charging fans to have a logo, the sponsor applied afterwards. I think they need to stop doing that. I can understand if they did it last season and some of that money went towards UN refugee sponsor.
Sorry. Now, I don't care that it was only £1.50, but it's absolute utter bollocks, because you know what I'm pissed at? I hope someone still has it. The press release said there will be no charge for adding the sponsorship. I know it's £1.50, and I don't mind. I don't even mind that the shirt prices have gone up to 75 quid, because they've been upfront about it. But over a fucking £1.50, that's something they didn't sort out. That annoyed me. So if they do that again with the sponsors this year, they're taking the absolute piss. They're and crypto shirt is a mess. I want to bring in some of the points the chat's making. There's some interesting points coming in. Keep them coming in, guys. Brandon says, sell a couple of players for massively overinflated prices to Olympiacos to balance the books. I think he's saying it tongue in cheek. You can't do that. It's even if you look at Man City, when they got their shirt sponsor from who was it, Etihad, they overinflated the price, but when FFP look at it, they put a market price sale on it. The same would happen with the players. We couldn't sell Wood to Olympiacos for 100 million. We'd get absolutely screwed over for doing that. Andy's brought this point up as well. Why didn't they get the sleeve sponsors on the main shirt sponsor? So with this, each segment, if you like, of the shirt is kind of negotiated differently. So if they're talking to the sleeve sponsors, they'd be talking to them specifically about the sleeves, and if they're talking for the main sponsors, they'd be talking specifically about that. Same with the training tops, etc. So I assume that someone was tasked with the sleeve, someone was tasked with the main, and someone was tasked with the training tops, because it's better if you get it all from different companies, because obviously it will generate more income. If one company did that, they'd probably want a group discount across the 3. How true that is, I don't know, but that logically would make sense to me. And saying, while I 100% agree that it's unprofessional not to have a shirt sponsor 2 seasons running, it's important a brand Forest doesn't undersell its worth because that sets a standard for future details. Yeah, we're not saying go out and bend over to the first.
Oh yeah,
you know,
100%.
yeah, and I know Ant knows that, but it's
Yeah.
a case of you had fucking a year to do it. It's a bit of a joke. Comment of the night. Okay, so that's our piece on the shirt sponsors. There we go. Keep saying Johnson & Johnson. Very funny. Let's move on and talk about the breaking news from today, which isn't really breaking news. We told you guys about it at the start of the summer, and that is Jonjo Shelvey. And Dino, you have to be the first person we start with on this. I cast your guys' minds back in the chat.
Yeah, please. He's getting his own back, you know, Dino. He's getting his own back.
Yeah, I've pulled him up on the Philippines. Now I'm going to enjoy this bit. To Varchester United. In fact, I'll go back to January. And I remember speaking to Dino, pissed off that we signed Shelvey. And he turns to me and he's like, yo, Wolverine, I'm going to be straight with you. I've got a feeling he's going to come good, you know. He's going to be good. He just seems to be. Give him a chance, man. I know you're not interested. Just give him a chance. And I was like, Dino, you've been around longer than I have. You've seen a lot more football than I have.
Brilliant. I only watched him 10 minutes against Fulham. It was great.
But before you cut me off, the main point here, Dino, is you promised us a 35-yard screamer against Varchester United.
Yeah, and every other club.
I think what happened is you had 35,000 people screaming at him after he gave away a penalty and a fucking pass against Villa. It was. So, guys in the chat, is there anyone who wants to keep him? Firstly, and Dino, are you still gonna back your boy, you fella Egghead? Where are you?
No, I've got to let him go. He's been a naughty boy, hasn't he? As well. He's not been good. I mean, he's had a couple of. He had a running with Cooper, didn't he? And then he had that episode at the pub, which wasn't very pleasant. No, he's not fitting in, is he? And it just made me wonder who that signing was from, because it's almost like Cooper just didn't fancy him at all in a way.
Do you think that? Do you think that? Because I think it had Giraldi's fingerprints all over it. But I still do think Cooper wanted both of them. Because, and my logic behind it, again, I will go back to logic and reason, is that Wood got chucked straight into the team. He literally hadn't got his pants on and he was already on the pitch after he'd signed. When did he come on? Was it the Boring Mouth match? I think the first one or something around that time. Yeah. And then Shelvey was, as soon as he was past fit, because he came to us injured, he was chucked straight in. Now, either Wood was chucked straight in because this was a whole freaking behind closed doors, we are going to buy him off you, but we need to move the money into next season thing, and let's get those 3 matches or 4 matches across. Or he was a Cooper signing. I think, because I think Cooper's quite strong. I have many things that I don't like about what he does, but I don't think he would be dictated to on who plays in his team. That's my point here. So surely there was an element of Cooper wanting him.
Cooper probably just got punch drunk last year with a number of players, and I think we're going to have a different year this year in terms of signings. I think we don't have to make wholesale changes like we did last year. I think so. Some of these players need to go. He's obviously he made noises today, didn't he, saying in an interview that there's going to be players go that we already know a lot of the team for next year. He was there. Do you want to answer this one? I know not everybody might know this one.
Okay, what I'll say is I'll put the link in the chat for the video that we exclusively launched. It is true what happened at the Old Vol. So make sure you go check that video out if you don't know what the whole pub thing is. So Russell, check that video out after the stream. Yeah.
So,
go carry on. I'll pick up the link. I see it somewhere.
Well, is anyone in the chat actually disappointed with him? Because looking at that few minutes we saw against Fulham, he looked like he was the kind of player we needed at the time. Because one thing, like I mentioned earlier in the chat today, is the way we were playing is trying to launch those Hollywood balls and we had Worrell was the one trying to do it prior to Shelvey coming in. We saw a couple of decent balls from Shelvey and thought, yes, that's what we're missing. Maybe we can play the way we're playing deep and try and launch balls like that and get Jonjo away or Taiwo away or whoever was in the team at the time. So there was potential for that to work, but as a human being, man, he's not a human being though, is he? What is he? He's Voldemort, so he's what are they? They're not. Yeah, he's Voldemort. He's not a human being. Anyway, I mean, whatever he's done off the pitch.
Sorry to interrupt. I gotta say that thumbnail today was fire. Yeah, I've got to say, if we do say so ourselves, right? I looked at that when it got sent to me. I was like, that's the best thumbnail we've had, right? We're probably gonna get some lawsuits and shit for it, but. Did you guys like the thumbnail on today's video, or not this one on the Shelvey one or not? But yeah, I'm just chucking the link in for you, Russell. So sorry, let's carry on.
Yeah, definitely. No, I was inspired by Crypto as well. He gave us a few storyboards to work with for that one. But yeah, he's just absolutely a vile human being, really, and I don't want him anywhere near our club. And he's nowhere near the squad, isn't he? He's been exiled from. Let's use the word exiled. Nothing.
Well, I've heard he's out of the training camp. That's my last.
Yeah, but
Seres and Sedino. I've been sent a picture that looks like he's boarded the plane. Now I don't know if that was Dino coming back from
the Philippines, man.
I don't know. I can't verify it. I need to double check it. But I've been sent a picture from someone, and it looks like he's behind. I think it was like Yates or something. So I haven't fully checked it out. I literally got it just before we went live. But let's throw that cat amongst the pigeon for a bit of fun.
Yeah, well, I just blows what I've just said out of the water. He shouldn't be.
Listen, the 30-yarder thing, right? He's done it for every frigging other club. That was my, thought process behind it. But yes, I bet he bloody does. Oh my God, I'll be hiding for a week if he does that. I'll get the blame for that one.
You will. Cool. All right. So I think it's unanimous that everyone wants Shelvey gone, and it's weird. And don't swear on this channel, please. And I mean, we accept a lot of swear words, but not that. I don't know. I'm not even. You know what? We're not even talking about that one now. All right. Let's finish with this, boys. Preseason game 1 done. We're off to Spain now with 2 games coming up. Do you expect to see the intensity and the fluidity starting to improve now? Or if we have another... Everyone talks about how a preseason means nothing, yeah? However, off the back of last preseason, we did almost see that flowing onto the pitch come the start of the league. We were very dysfunctional, very disjointed. We lost to fucking Coventry 3-1, didn't we, in that opening game?
That was awful. That was a shocking game. Worse than County for me, that one.
At least we beat County this time, so there's positives. Yeah,
that was a terrible game.
But should we read anything into friendlies? And chat, what do you think? Because there's always the ones who say, if we lose, it's like, it's friendly, it doesn't matter. If you win, there's the ones who are like, we're going to win the league. Where should you be in a friendly in terms of what your expectations are?
Last year, it was a mess, wasn't it? Because the amount of players coming through the door at different periods. I mean, into the season as well, they were coming in. And I think this season he's got more of an idea of his starting 11, so I don't think it'll be as messy as last season. I'm on the camp, and I remember all this conversation at the beginning of last season about friendlies don't matter. I think they do. Okay. I think they do matter because it shows your intent, your play style, and things like that, and how you're going to. And I couldn't see for the life of me how we were going to set up last pre-season. This season, I think we will, and I think the tour will see more of the first teamers in there. Obviously, MGW's had a rest because he's just finished international tournament, and I think he'll blood some of the kids again, but not so many.
What the fuck? I looked away for 1 second to put the poll up. I looked back.
No, he froze.
No, I froze.
He froze again. I put the poll up, guys. Where are you on friendlies? Do they matter? Yes, no, or don't know? Those are your 3 options. What's O'Brien saying? Hopefully he's not too jet lagged. So he goes, you can read into them towards the back end. Can't say anything after yesterday there, as it was a chance to stretch legs and get their footballing mentality back up and running. Yeah. It's Agreed. A balanced point. The only argument I'd have back with you on that, Lemmy, is usually come the last game or 2, they start to worry about picking up injuries, don't they, into the new season. And the last game is usually like a kid game where they put the under-21s out. It's pretty much what it was Notts County last time, wasn't it? Where we put the kids out plus like Cafu and Biancone or whatever. So is it the ones in the middle as that are more important, where that's where he's like, I think I'm getting the point I'm getting to, I think, is Cooper judging the players on friendlies, or is he judging them on what he's seeing behind the scenes?
Yeah, because obviously from his point of view, with preseason being a lot more in depth than an even normal training between games, he's going to see them a lot more in terms of what they're doing off the pitch as well. I think these first 2 or 3 are more to get minutes in their legs and hopefully, like we saw from yesterday, stick to a shape. Is he frozen again? Stick to a shape. Stick to a shape. And go forward with that. You'll probably see again 2 different teams, first half and second half. So I think the first few games you will see that. Maybe more towards the penultimate game, along with what Lemmy said there, is where you'll get more of a better idea of who his starting players will be for the new season. But it's all important, but I don't think results are important. I don't put too much emphasis on that. It's got to.
It's nothing to that.
Big shout out to Matt. Sorry, just quick shout out to Matt SB. What an absolute legend! And he stayed awake through the whole game yesterday. Congratulations, Matt.
Yeah, it's good to meet you, Matt.
If you're not subscribed to Matt SB, go show him.
Subscribe, thumbs up, subscribe.
Thumbs up. Go give him a thumbs up on his video. He always wants some weird numbers of likes. Yeah, so go check his videos out. Make sure. I think he wanted 199 likes on the one yesterday. So if it's over 200, if it's over 199, start disliking it just to annoy him. I'm joking.
It was a Forest one again. That one, wasn't it? That was a Forest. He's done a good Forest one. So go over and see that. It's real good. Yeah,
he's an absolute legend. And honestly, off camera as well. What a top bloke.
He's great.
And as you guys saw, for those of you who saw his vlog, he's about, because Ezra's 6 foot, so Matt SB is about 8'3".
Yeah. We'll go with that.
But much love, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
no, Dino invited him. It was, it was obviously, I was just going to say it was good to see Matt yesterday. Dino invited him into FFTV HQ yesterday. So we got to have a nice little chat with him and his mate Cookie, who was on the video on his vlog as well. But yeah, going back to this, end of the day, I forgot where I was, mate. Seriously, I forgot who were we talking about now. We're talking
about pre-season friendlies, you bellend.
Yeah, so the first few have got to be about getting minutes into the players' legs and try and get a formation. We'll probably see 2 different teams again. There will be a bit of putting people in the shop window as well. Cooper's going to try and move players on this window. I think that's the biggest aim. We've got to get players out before maybe we get too many in. So there will be players in the shop window. He will be giving some minutes to some legs. I mean, there was players yesterday. Josh Bowler, I still don't know what he's about. He didn't really prove anything yesterday against the, League 2 team. So there's players that do need to be moved on. But how we're going to move them, I really don't know. But they will be getting minutes, I'm sure, in these next few games. So results-wise, I really don't care about any of these pre-season friendlies, to be honest. But performance-wise and shape-wise,
man. I do.
No, there's always the Saudi League, as
always what Saudi League.
Saudi League to move players too.
Yeah, but no, I do, guys. Now I don't care I don't care like I'm gonna rip someone apart for playing shit or something, that kind of care, or praise someone through the hills because they've had an amazing game. I care because Yates said it in the post-match interview. It's about building momentum. I'll always go back and harp on to Arsenal's pre-season last year, where they beat Chelsea, they beat a couple of other, I think Everton, a few others, and they went into the Premier League campaign with momentum, and they started off really hot. They went straight to the top and stuck there for 92% of the season, as I keep reminding my son, until we fucked him over. So I do like the idea of momentum. Now, I'm not expecting scintillating, those 49 seconds of porn that I saw yesterday. I'm not expecting that over 90 minutes. Yeah, I'm for 90 minutes. Sorry, but I do want to see progression from one game to the next, and I do want to start to get an idea of what Cooper wants to do. If he is switching to this 4-2-3-1, and I'm sorry, I'm very excited by it, and I think he should potentially stick to it for 3/4 of the friendlies, but also he needs to use a backup formation because we don't want to be in the position that we were in last season, where all the friendlies were 5-2-1-2, whatever way you want to call it. Yeah. And then suddenly you realize 3 or 4 games into the Premier League, he's fucked it up here. He needs to switch to a back 4. And then that has an adaptation period. So I want to see 2 or 3 formations regularly used and developed, and players understanding, like even in game, there are times in game where you need to switch from a back 4 to a back 3 or a 4-2-3-1 into a 4-3-3, that kind of thing. So that's where I am with it.
I think we know what the backup formation is. It's what we finished the season with, isn't it? Those 2 banks of 3 with wing backs. I think that will be his go-to formation going away from home. Probably that's what we'll see in the away games against Arsenal and Chelsea and so on and so forth. But he does have to have what I think should be the plan A for the home games against the likes of Sheffield United, Burnley. We need to be on the front foot in those games. So what I'm hoping for is a consistency in formation, like you just mentioned there. But we have got a plan A or plan B, whichever way you want to flip it around, because we know what our backup plan is, and we know that works as well. If we've got Taiwo fit, we've got MG Dubs fit further up the field, and Danilo playing the way he has been playing towards the end of last season. I mean that's a play that will go from strength to strength. So he needs to be kind of ring fenced a little bit, because Danilo, I think, is so much more important to what Cooper wants to do with this formation than most players in that formation. So he's one I think we need to kind of like put him in a cut and roll for a little bit as well. So not play him too much, but he's got to be a vital part of it. The players have got to get minutes in their legs. They've got to understand you're right about the momentum. But momentum can come from performances, not necessarily results. I'm not saying I want to see us lose games and play shit. I want us to see, as long as we're playing well and we're seeing a consistency in the way we're playing, the results really aren't going to matter to me too much. That's not the be all and end all. It's how we progress in terms of our performance.
I mean, everyone's going to look at it differently.
What would you call progression, you two, then, this season? What's progression? How many points extra? Because I'd like to see 10 more points. I think that's easily doable. Easily doable. Yeah. And that's progression. It's not like fourth Wolverine, but
I think so, because I think all you really
we're still struggling. We're still 3 players short. Sorry, we're still 3 players short, 3 positions short.
Well, let me throw this at you, Dino. As things stand now, Forest are in a worse position, than we were at the end of last season. And I use the Joey style quotation marks. What do I mean by that? We haven't got a goalkeeper. We've lost Loddy. We may lose Jono. Okay, Jono hasn't gone, so let's not speculate about that now. But technically, we are 2 players worse off than we were at the end of last season. Now, excuse me, Loddy for me was one of the best left backs in the Premier League. Yes, I have Loddy goggles on. You lot take the piss out of me on it, but I genuinely believe he was. In fact, he went for 11 minutes. I'm not going to go on a rant on that Loddy deal. But anyway, the point is, this must be swollen. I don't know. He was probably smelling his groin area, but the height difference, man. But anyway, my point here is, Dino, you're saying get 10 more points, but if we replace Loddy with a shitter left back than him, and let's say we can't get Hendo because they want 30 million and we have to go with a Horvath, where's this 10 extra points coming from? And bear in mind, if you are objective about it, a couple of the wins we got last season, old Lady Luck was on our side for a few of them, So is it that clear cut? You're saying it's going to be quite easy to get 10 more points?
No, I didn't say it'd be quite easy. I would say that's progression, 10 more points. I think that Marinakis would want more than that, personally. But as a fan, I think 10 more points would be a good return.
But can you see us getting those 10 more points?
Yeah, I can. We've got three potentially weaker clubs coming up, haven't we? We were one of those weaker clubs. I mean, we were the 20th, right? So there's already 3 clubs potentially worse than us. I'm not saying that they won't turn us over, but they should be worse than us. So there's if we win all those 3 home games, there's 9 more points from them.
I think you're a bit deluded, mate, but whatever.
I don't agree. I'd like to know what the chat thinks. So what do you think then? If 10 points isn't enough, because you were talking about 4th last year. I mean, you're talking about me being deluded. What's your points total this season? Are we going to be 17?
My expectations this year, so don't start putting 4th in my mouth. I've gone
He's gone
seventh this
7th.
year. So I've actually got us to digress this season rather than progress, right? By finishing 7th. So, that is where I think it's going to be. So 7th it will be, and yes, we will probably have a slightly worse season in my crazy mind that's happening there, man. I've got
It's easy to pick up those points because look at our away form. We've only got to fix a little bit of that.
Exactly the point. In terms of the question that you asked him, what would count as progression? 10 more points would, and I would agree with Dino on that. But that is achievable because. And it's going to sound simple, but one of the major things is if you can pick up 2 or 3 more points away from home, stick to the home form that we've had, solidify that. But you can pick up those 2 or 3 more away points, and like we've just said, there are 3 weaker teams coming up. That could be the difference and getting you those 9-10 points. That is progression for me. I wouldn't expect us to be in the top half this season, but that would be progression. That'll get you probably halfway up the table. Go on, Dino.
Can we ask the chat? I want to know where the chat is on this. So like plus 10, plus 20 if you think you get 20 points, 0 if you think we're going to finish the same, or minus whatever if you think we're going to be worse.
Oh, that's technical.
That'd be good to see where the chat is
on
this.
The chat up to that kind of maths, I don't know.
I think I'm really conservative with that, honestly.
I think
we've got a settled. Wolverine, we've got a settled side going into the season, more settled than it was last year. He was pissing around with changes, trying to find his settled side for most of last season. We ain't got that anymore.
Okay,
especially if Dino comes, and Onana is literally on the verge of coming to Man United, so that should hopefully free that one.
I thought you meant if you signed up front, then when he said Dino. Haalandinho, mate. Haalandinho.
12 points better, 23 points, 14th, 18.
Wait, hold on. I
just
want to address Ian's point here. He always makes some good points, and me and him don't agree on a lot of stuff. I disagree a bit with this. I think people are being a bit harsh on Luton. I don't care if they're being harsh on Sheffield United because they're cunts, but on Luton, I think people are being a bit harsh. That ground is an ugly ground to play at, man. I don't care what changes they do to it. It's still an ugly motherfucking ground, man. And they will grind some points out at that. And it doesn't take much in that shitty, Doug Kenilworth road for an atmosphere to be created. So I think Luton, I still think they go down, but I don't think they go down bottom. But that's just me. But
I think they do.
So I just think let's not just assume we're going to finish above those bottom 3, because I'm sure the likes of Leeds, Leicester, and Southampton assumed they would finish above us last season. Let's not. I'm not saying they got quality, Si. I'm just saying playing at an ugly ground, Stoke like that kind of thing, it can be ugly football, and if they can get teams to play how they want them to play, they can benefit from it. That's all I'm saying. Can I
answer this one? We did get lucky in loads of games. I totally agree. That's exactly what Wolverine said. But we were our own worst enemy in most of those. We just went ahead and sat back or let in buy one, get one free goals. Yeah. So we were our own worst enemy there. That's all I'd say to that.
Okay. All right. So let's wrap it up there, guys. There's so much more to talk about. I mean, we could go on for another hour and a half, but I'm getting hot. So let's wrap it up there. It's been a cracking stream. These fuckers told you a lot about me falling over, so I'm going to have words with them afterwards off stream. But just want to say, so tomorrow's Monday, we'll have daily transfer news. Harvey, sorry, we haven't had a chance to speak about Ibrahim Sangera. I'll give you guys an update if there's anything on the daily tomorrow on him. As things stand, nothing has changed since his reps have had talks with Forest on there. But it is true that we are talking to him, and what a signing and what a steal that would be as well. But we'll bring you up to date on that throughout, of course, the week. Couple of things from me. Dino's released a couple more videos on the high press today. There's some updates, some important ones as well. For Manchester United, Villa, and have you done one on Nana? Because that Nana one's quite key to us. Is there a Nana update?
No, the Nana one's still flying, but that was a comparison between him and De Gea. But just a pitch for the High Press channel. It's if you're interested in just Premier League in general. I mean, obviously Forest is on this channel. If you're interested in the rest of the teams in the Premier League, we'll be covering transfers in the transfer windows, and then some tactical game analysis and more. A bit like somebody put Mark, then put Beat the Drop. A bit more engagement with other clubs in the Premier League as well. That's what that channel was about. And Ez also has a channel. So yeah, please subscribe to both.
So the link
tell them what
for the
yours
high
is about,
press,
Ez.
link for the high press is in the chat. Now,
and thanks for all the subs, guys. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
And on the FFTV Premier League, when this lazy bastard starts putting the videos out, right, it's going to be a bit like this channel, but in general on Premier League. So you're going to get those cold opinions, those truthful opinions. It will be about the Premier League in general, and we'll be doing a fantasy Premier League on there as well. The Predictor League will remain on Forest Fan TV. The fantasy stuff, we're going to start one up and it's going to end up on there. But there'll also be reflections post the weekend on all the games that have gone, the big talking points, etc. So there's a lot coming on. We want to make FFTV just solely Forest, but we also understand there's a wider community that we need to be understanding as Forest fans, because we need to know what we're going to be coming up against, because we're Premier League. So give the Premier League channel a quick subscription if you haven't already. And of course, hit the like button here if you haven't. We're 4 likes away from 150 likes, and we've held over 300 on the stream. You guys have been absolutely amazing tonight. Your comments are... They keep us going, and I can't wait to see you all at the barbecue for those of you who are going. So if you haven't, the link's pinned in the chat as well. Thank you all for watching. It's been an absolutely cracking stream. We'll see you tomorrow on the daily transfer news, and come on, you Reds.
Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.